everyone. I'm Larry Ridley. You're tuned into the NFL on EA Sports. There is no question today's game could be defined by the passing game. The Bears are top 10 in pass yards, and they're going up against the Steelers, who will need to be ready to cover a lot of space. With that, it's time to hook up with our commentators in the booth as we turn it over to Brandon Godden and Charles Davis.
Set to go now in Week 6 of the NFL season, and we are underway on EA Sports. This is fielded a couple yards deep. And he'll get across the 20 before he's brought down at about the 23-yard line. They'll throw on first down with Roethlisberger. And he'll go down. The Bears get there for the sack. Leonard Floyd coming in from that outside linebacker spot to bury him for a loss of 7. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out, and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. Zero accountability and a sack.
And he coughs up the football near his own goal line. And the Chicago Bears are in the end zone. They give some kudos to the defensive coordinator, I think, here. They bring the blitz, they dial it up, and it turns into 6 points for them.
It's so nice to hear you actually give kudos to the defense. It is so nice. You're such an offensive guy like that. I love it. He dialed things up, and boy, a big play resulted for his guys.
Well, you like the credit to the defense there, right, my friend?
Yeah, do I ever?
That'll be taken in the end zone. And he'll get it up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. And Pittsburgh getting set to take the field. And they've got to be still reeling from the events of a moment ago. What a turn on that last play.
You're knocking on the door. You're about to take it in. You think you're going to get some points on the board. Instead, you cough it up and watch them take it the rest of the way to the opposite end zone. That's a 2-score swing that you just gave up. Let's talk a little football 101 here, because one of the keys to advancing the ball downfield, success on first down. Huge difference, as we know, between 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 8 and 9.
Neutral zone infraction, defense.
A little antsy on the left side of the line.
Yeah, I think they got the guy in the end. I think they got the DN there on that one. And let's face it, he is so amped up, wanting to get a good get-off on the snap, jump too quickly.
Now flags will come in. I think this one's going to be on the defense for jumping.
Neutral zone infraction, defense.
A little eager there coming in from his outside linebacker position.
You think the hard count got him there?
Yes.
Maybe that extra hut, that extra emphasis on it, got him to jump, and they picked up 5 yards.
They go play action here on first down. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Now the Bears electing to call a timeout defensively. They'll have 2 remaining as we step aside here in this first quarter. Now Roethlisberger to throw on second down. Over the middle, Rodgers has it. And he'll bring it up here to right at the 40-yard line. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face third down. Well, clearly one of his advantages as a passer is his height. Sit back in the pocket, fired over the middle. That makes things tougher defensively, doesn't it?
It really does, because your goal is to move the quarterback off his initial spot when he gets his drop back completed. But when you have that type of height, he can stay in there if he's willing to take the hits and just fire over the top, which saves him time and actually completes a play a little bit quicker than it normally does for a quarterback who has to slide and find open space to throw.
Barry on to punt as he gets this one away. And he didn't quite have the backspin on that one. It hits at the 4 and continues into the end zone. It's a touchback. Now Trubisky on first down. Pressure comes, and Trubisky goes down. Calais Campbell in there to bring him down for a loss of 7. They were able to win last week despite him being sacked 4 times. They might need to tighten the reins a little bit, or this one may not end in another victory.
You're right about that. They can't count on just winning the game no matter what happens. They can't let the accumulation of hits and harassment in the pocket get to their quarterback. Got to stop that. Give him clean lanes to throw the football in order to have a better chance to win again this week.
Taking a shot for Samuel. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. Past the 20. 10. Touchdown, Chicago. A big play there. 87 yards. And the Bears will add on to their lead. And correct me if I'm wrong, that was just a simple fly route, wasn't it?
No, there's nothing to correct at all. You got it down pat. And I just remember as a player, when I'd be in practice sessions, and I'd hear 9 from the receivers, that meant fly route, go, look out. That was the 9, and he just kept going all the way into the end zone for the touchdown.
And now out come the Steelers. Already down 2 touchdowns here in the first half. This becomes a pretty important drive, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and a lot of the teams script plays. We know that, right? They have a script to start the ball game, and typically those scripts go between 12 and 24, 25 plays. Down 2 touchdowns early, probably not very deep into their script. I think that they'll stay with it. I don't think they'll abandon it just yet and try and generate some offense on this drive.
Anything. At least 3 points, get that 0 off the board. They'll run it now out of the gun. And unable to get downhill there as he'll take this up to about the 37. Just a yard on the first down carry, so it's 2nd and 9. And now the Bears going to signal for another timeout. And that's their second charge timeout here in this first quarter. They're down to 1 remaining. They'll run it now out of the gun. And he will lose yardage back to the 34-yard line. So he loses 3 yards there. Now 3rd down. Now the defense will burn their 3rd and final timeout. And my goodness, they're now out of timeouts here in this first quarter. On 3rd down, Roethlisberger. This is caught by Antonio Brown. They get 7 there, but it brings up 4th. I think defensively you're okay with that. Here in the first quarter, he's going to get some catches, but they rallied to him quickly.
And that's what you count on, and I like what you just said. First quarter, can you do it all game long? They catch it, you tackle them, they go down on the spot. Because when you're able to do that and you don't give up big chunks of yardage after the catch, now you put the offense in a position where every series they have to work hard to pick up first downs, and you tend to stall them out when you do that.
Might have been 1 man away from 6 points. As it stands, it's a huge return. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Looking to throw, Trubisky on first down. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line. And a nice gain of 21 yards.
Everyone's got to be able to catch the football. Doesn't matter what position you play, but if you're on offense, be aware a ball may come your way.
Now Trubisky going for his running back, and he's got him complete. And he'll be taken down as that will take us to the end of the first quarter of play. Brandon Gaudin, Charles Davis back with you as it's Bears football here to begin quarter number 2. And they've got it here with a first down. Now a play fake here on first down. He'll get 10 there all on his own, but it'll be 2nd down.
And we have to give credit to him for buying time and extending the play. But you know, there's some really upset defenders on that one. They thought that they had him. Instead, he was coated in Teflon and got away.
Now it's Trubisky. And that is caught. Touchdown, Bears. Now he's having a nice little first half here, partner.
And it's a first half that leaves us anticipating what can still come. I mean, 2 touchdowns already here through the second quarter. There could be plenty more before this game is over.
Lutz now to kick this one away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one, and it'll come out to the 25. Throwing now, Roethlisberger on first down. Over the middle here to Brown. Antonio Brown, kiss him goodbye. And into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. Antonio Brown, his third touchdown now on the year. And the Steelers get the quick strike touchdown. And sometimes those slants, they can be so tough to defend after the catch. It just happens so quickly.
And really, what gets set up there is how quickly everything happens. Ball's out of the hands of the passer in a hurry, and he just takes it and goes.
And he went all the way into the end zone. On 1st and 10, it's Trubisky. He'll rifle this one deep right side. And that one falls incomplete. Looked like he might have had position there, but he couldn't hold on at second down. 2nd and 10. It's Trubisky again, escaping the pressure right. And he comes back with one complete. 15 yards through the air and a first down. Talk about a big first half. Already has the 2 touchdowns, adding to his receiving total there and picking up the first down.
He's coming off the line so fast. I think he's intimidating the defensive backs with his explosiveness, and he's chipping away at them.
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Ryan Shazier in there to get him for what will be a loss of 13 yards.
You know, on these types of plays, we're always looking to assess blame. Okay, where did it break down? Sometimes it's just a great play.
And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
The positioning here is key. As a defensive back, you're taught 99% of the time, make a play on the football. But in this case, making a play on the man was all the difference. That's what forced the incompletion.
That's Samuel, caught left side. And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory. That one goes for 24 yards. So they're on that play. Offensively, they were in the crossing route. Defense was in zone coverage. So it was and no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. T.J. Watt from his outside linebacker spot. He comes up to drop him for a loss of 10.
Now, that was just absolute perfect man coverage. Nowhere for them to go with the football. Led to a sack. That's really difficult to do in today's NFL with all these gazelles running around that you're trying to cover in the secondary.
He was looking for the tight end, Adam Shaheen, that time. And it's 3rd down.
When you see passes knocked down by those guys I call the frustrated fullbacks, the linebackers, you know that in their zone coverage, they were able to drop, see the ball thrown, and react to it very quickly.
And he'll be taken down at the 44-yard line. It'll be a pickup of 13, but it'll still lead to a 4th down. We remind you that coming up at halftime, we'll pay a visit to Larry Ridley in Orlando with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Here's Trubisky to throw. Able to find Shaheen, the tight end. And he's going to get this one down right to the edge of the red zone to the chalk of the 20. It's a gain of 24 that time. And it'll be a Chicago first down. And with that completion, he's now north of 200 yards here in the first half. Boy, a tough start for the secondary defensively.
It is, and it's got to put a dent in their confidence. And, you know, you always want to keep that up and feel like you can always bounce back after plays. But with the kind of numbers he's putting up here, it's starting to wear on them a little bit, I think. So they're looking at each other and trying to figure out what defense will work and how can they play better without getting beat deep for big passes.
Throw left side complete. That's Griffin. And he takes this one in for a Bears touchdown. Lutz will look to add the extra point.
The catch and the touchdown, they were the end result of a terrific route run by the receiver.
And he knocks it through. Lutz now to kick this one away. This will be taken to the back of the end zone. And from back there, a wise move. He'll just sit on this one. come out to the 25. Now Roethlisberger on first down. Got his man complete over the middle. That's Rodgers. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense, as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. Now contact up front as penalty markers come in. Who is this against?
Neutral zone infraction, defense.
So a jump there defensively.
And it's a killer. Watch the football. Don't move across the line of scrimmage until the ball moves.
On first down, it's Roethlisberger finding his safety valve here. That's complete. 20, 10, and into the end zone. Touchdown, Pittsburgh. A great play there. His fourth touchdown on the year. And the Steelers are able to close the gap just a bit. It's up and good, and it's now 28-14. Boswell on now to kick this one away. Here's the dangerous Tyreek Hill. Oh, what a move. And a good return as he'll be stopped just shy of the 30-yard line. Now the Bears offense ready to take over again. And we'll see how this is played. Offensively, they've got the lead. Not a whole lot of time left. What do you think, Charles?
Well, it's tempting to try and add to your lead, but a mistake there, that could change things in a big way. I say go ahead, take the knee, get on out for the half.
And it drops down incomplete. Thought he might have had it. Instead, second down.
One thing I know from experience is that when the deep ball is thrown and you're the defender, you've got to fight that little bit of panic that emerges. You've got to play the ball really well. It's a 50-50 jump ball play. And guess what? They took a shot. How are you going to win it? And in this case, they managed to get it done. Let's face it, perfection is something we all chase, whether it's playing this game or whatever we do. Hard to attain, but that's what they were searching for as that pass goes incomplete.
I don't know. He had to be pretty quick with his fingers to start and stop after the ball hit the ground. I'm giving him some credit.
Well, I'm thinking about the mental focus, you know?
Yeah.
The mental focus.
Yeah, that's true.
Got to stay with it.
That's true. And the punt team on now as this one's sent away. With it is Brown. Give him 11 yards that time on the return. And the Steelers will go on offense here, 1st and 10. Getting set to go again, Ben Roethlisberger heading back out there. And how does he rally the troops, so to speak? I mean, he's played well, but they're down big on the scoreboard. How does he get his guys going?
To make sure they understand it's not a me game, it's a team game. Everyone has to come together. Everyone has to up the level of play a little bit, including himself, and find a way to make some plays in order to give them a little bit of a spark and rally the team.
And no update from Larry this week, apparently. We'll try again in week 7. But for now, let's get back to the action, ready to kick off the second half. This will be taken short. So here's the Bears offense now as they get set to start this third quarter. This is sort of what you would call a put-away drive, isn't it? As they score here, especially a touchdown, it's almost out of reach.
It certainly feels that way, and I think that they're going to call their plays accordingly, because what you really want to do, even though you know the scoreboard is still up there and the game's going to go on, in fact, you can take the spirit away from another team. That their drive and will to come back and win can be taken with another score right here.
Still third quarter, but you just get that feel.
Yeah, they're teetering right there on the brink, aren't they?
Curtis Samuel, the one he was looking for. And that takes us from second to third down.
I guess they figure with a guy who is that hot downfield, who knows how to get the ball into the end zone, You throw it up and give him every opportunity, even though that one fell incomplete.
Yeah, he's already been in the end zone multiple times, tried to target him again deep there, but unsuccessful. And they'll get 10 there, but it leaves them just short for fourth down. So in their own territory, but they only need a few inches, so they're going to opt to go for this thing. We'll see. Maybe a surprise pass or run. What will they do? We're about to find out. Fourth down. And this is incomplete. So certainly an interesting call there to go for it. And the Steelers, they're going to take over an excellent field position. Boy, sitting on a 2-score lead at this stage in the game, that punter, he must be pretty lonely over there on the sideline thinking, why in the world was my number not called there?
As far as he's concerned, the check...
Pressure, and he's taken down. A Bear sack.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
Going to give this time to the tailback. And he's going to be stopped at about the 37. It's a pickup of 8 yards to move him into a 3rd and 13 here.
Sometimes with the running game, you've just got to stick with it. Look, it's the third quarter, no time to panic. But that also doesn't mean you just do it the same way you've been doing it the entire ball game. Maybe change up some blocking assignments or run a few different plays, but stay with the overall essence of the running game.
They do get 9, but it leads to fourth down.
He wasn't the primary target, but I think it was almost like a check-down situation, wasn't it?
Yeah, hoping he can break some tackles, a big tight end, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, get it to that big frame.
Oh, they flip it to the kicker. He looks like he's going to throw it. And the gamble fails. It's incomplete. They pass up the 3, fake it. It doesn't work.
Well, the element of surprise was there. All right, there's no doubt about it. For us, maybe. But not for the guys on defense. An incomplete pass on the fake field goal attempt.
I guess, though, if you're trying to pick up the first in that spot, why not let your QB throw the ball, right?
Thinking that might be a better
Instead
way
of
to
your
go.
kicker, yeah. And now before this first down play, we're going to get a timeout here. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn one here in this third quarter. Now a first down throw. It's Smith. He's going to flip one out here to his running back. And he's brought down. A nice pickup there of 11 yards, and it'll move the sticks.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you...
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. T.J. Watt coming in from his outside linebacker spot. He buries him for a loss of 10 or 11.
The amount of sacks that they've absorbed in this game is absolutely extraordinary. Let's just face it. This offensive line, flat out, cannot handle this pass rush. It's been demonstrated time and time again.
And they only get a yard back there. They'll be left with a 3rd down and long.
I'd say they've got to find a way to get him going. He's such a big part of their offense. I wonder if they might throw it a little and come back to the run.
Anything, because you're right. He's pretty much been completely neutralized. Third and long, it's Smith. He rifles one that's intercepted. Picked off around the 27.
Well, it's 3rd and long, and you've got a few different ways to play it offensively. But this is not the type of offense that's going to wave the white flag. They're going to keep chucking it. And this time, it results in an interception.
After the interception, here's Roethlisberger. And Rodgers has it over on the right side. And he's going to get this inside the 30. It's a Pittsburgh first down, a gain of 13.
I like how they work the tight end on a nice little under route there. And if you're going to give him that much space, he's not going to catch the football. He's going to run away from you a little bit, and that's exactly what he just did there, picking up.
And it's caught. It's Brown. Touchdown, Steelers. Antonio Brown with his 2nd touchdown of the game, 4th of the year. And the interception by the Steeler Dean leads to a touchdown. That's the score you felt they had to have here in the third quarter to get back in this game.
And you know that there was an emphasis on their side. Hey, we know this. We know where we are. But sometimes that binds you up so much that you try too hard, you don't get the score. A perfect combination of urgency, yet relaxed enough to get it done.
And the decision to bring it out, a good one, as he's up a yard or two shy of the 30. The Bears offense now heading back out onto the field. And there are parts of their last drive they'd like to emulate. And, of course, they'd like to forget the inning, the interception. But they did put together, Charles, a nice sustained drive to get him down the field.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, the only thing that matters is part two, right? Because once they threw the interception and finished off the drive, that does them no good to go back and say, well, you know, we had a good one going. Finish things off. That's the only way you can get it done.
Back now at Soldier Field. It's Bears football here. They also have the lead as well as we begin quarter number 4. Now Gino on first down. He's going to rifle one deep left side. Oh, incomplete. A turnover would have really helped there. Almost intercepted. Instead, it's just second down. On 2nd and 10, Smith. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. And taking it across midfield and inside the 45. It's a pickup of 16 there, and it'll lead to a new set of downs.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect him to run the ball in this situation, Brandon. But with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe. I hope I don't sound too rah-rah on that one, but that's the exact right throw. Either your receiver gets it or no one gets it. Give him a lot of credit for being really precise with it.
Got rid of it. Nope. And he's going to be hit and taken down. Back right around the 48-yard line. The Bears on 3rd down. They've converted just 2 for 6 thus far. This will be 3rd and 19. And here comes throw number 1 for the backup QB. Looking left side, and it's complete. And he gets it to the 32. Good enough for a first down. They needed 19, and that's precisely what they got. And by the length of a football, it's a first down. And the play clock's running down. First down, here's the run with Cook. And he struggles to get a yard here, maybe a yard, down to the 31. Offensively with the lead, you want to run the ball, keep the clock going, but you also want to still kind of be in attack mode too, right? So how do you do that and not come back on your heels?
Yeah, think about all the practices we've watched where they have that tempo period to go over things just like this, where they describe the scenario, tell you what they're looking for, and make sure that they're still attacking, yet at the same time not going so fast as to leave too much time on the clock. That would have been a great catch, but it's real difficult to hold on to it because it was contested all the way. Would have been a great play if he'd been able to haul that one in.
And he will have a first down at about the 21-yard line. It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains. How about this offensive line? They're really starting to establish themselves, take over this game.
And before the series began, I know exactly what we said in the defensive huddle. Guys, we got to get no less than a 3 and out. Let's get off the field. Instead, they can't find any traction towards doing that. Right now, they're just getting muscled all over the field and getting pushed down it.
Now he'll look to throw here on 2nd and 10. His throw caught at about the 5. That one goes for 16 yards. It sets him up 1st and goal. Time for a break. We're back to see what happens after this. So the Bears with the football here as we welcome you back. And let's see what they've come up with offensively after having time to talk it over. A beautiful, and he'll get into the end zone. Touchdown, Chicago. It's their quarterback. His first touchdown on the year. And the Bears will extend their lead. And he's been a busy man, 5 for 5 now as he knocks another one through to extend the lead. Lutz now to kick this one away. That's fielded in the end zone. And they'll put up the stop sign there as his guys will get it at the 25. And the D-line pinching together must be expecting the run. Here's Roethlisberger to throw. Going right side here, and that's complete. And they're able to get this one across the 35. It's a Pittsburgh first down, a gain of 13. First down now, but that clock rolling. On 1st and 10, it's Roethlisberger. He's going to leave this for his running back. It's complete. And he'll get up near the 45. They'll spot it at the 44. 7 yards on the play, and that'll bring up 2nd down. From the shotgun, it's Roethlisberger. And Bryant's got it over the middle. And he takes this thing down deep into Chicago territory. And give him a gain of 37. From the red zone now, here's Roethlisberger on 1st down. And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. Leonard Floyd in there to take him down, and the clock will roll. On 2nd down, Roethlisberger. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's going to be a 1st down. Well done. The passing game in rhythm right now for Pittsburgh. There's another 1st down. Clock management, definitely critical here if they want to get back in this game.
Absolutely agreed. They have to up the tempo in this case, down a couple of scores. Want to make sure they have a chance to win this ball game.
And he just throws this one away. Smart decision here this close to the end zone, and it brings up 2nd down.
What's the old adage? Be quick, but don't hurry. Well, that went right out the window there. He was hurried, harassed. That ball had to be gotten rid of, otherwise he was going to get sacked.
And this is caught now for a late touchdown. So hold everything here. This one's not over yet.
And there's the touchdown that they needed, so they'll celebrate. But the guys on the sidelines, they've got to stay focused. The onside kick team, they need them to get the ball back.
Yeah, part one of the equation done. Now they need to convert and then get that onside kick.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. Defense.
Well, when you're leading in the 4th quarter, that's not the penalty you want.
Not at all, and now your discipline comes into question. Having poise this stage of the game, you can't have those kind of plays.
And this is going to be taken in by the Bears, and it appears they're going to win this game. Well, 4th quarter, it felt like they needed the football back. Unfortunately, they couldn't get it.
And I know we brought analytics into the game, and someone has said here that the data says that when a team's expecting an onside kick, 80% of the time, the team expecting it, they do actually recover the ball, which is what we saw here. I just wonder if that number is much more of a anecdotal type of a number. Kind of like when the coaches tell us, well, when you score on special teams, 93% of the time you win the game. I'm still waiting to see that number is empirical.
Trying to run inside, but nothing there. Now the Steelers put a stop to the action with a timeout defensively. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. He is going to find Hill here. And he's across for the late touchdown. And in the final seconds, that one should just about put a capper on this game.
And that touchdown should make you feel comfortable. But do you really feel like it's totally over yet?
Not totally, but I think you're pretty much there.
Yeah, you've still got to make sure you stay with it, do all the right things down the stretch, especially on defense. But that touchdown there, you've got to feel good about your chances.
Elsewhere in the NFL, they're in the 4th down in New Orleans. And the Saints have surged back to take the lead there. Teddy Bridgewater, 3 touchdown passes to help lead the way. And now whistles and a flag, and I think we got to jump here.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense.
Jumpy on the right side of the line.
Sometimes when you're on the end, a little bit farther away from the ball, any type of movement will get you to jump, and that's exactly what happened there.
Roethlisberger. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And a scary incompletion, almost picked off. It would have been their first INT of the game. Instead, 2nd down.
Definitely desperation time. This just looks like, hey, throw it down there, hope that your guy can make a play.
You want him to make a play, but if not, maybe you get a pass interference call. And you know in the NFL, that's a spot foul. You get all of that yardage. That would be a big play.
And that is incomplete, stopping the clock with 5 seconds to go. Antonio Brown, the intended receiver, and it's 3rd and 5. Fair to say the secondary play, whichever side you're on, hasn't really been a glowing exhibition so far, but a nice job there to prevent a long completion.
I agree with you, but at some point, someone had to make a play and try and stop this exhibition of almost speed racing that we